going to put everything I know about the journey from natural coach to in-demand coach into this video. We're going to take it step by step. I have 5 key milestones that I've seen time and time again. They are both milestones as well as potential roadblocks. We're going to cover the following. Number 1, what clarity do you need to know that this is your journey? And even if you're a little bit ahead of the journey, perhaps you're already seeking clients, perhaps you're already trying to create cash flow, I would still lightly touch on some of the previous steps because the strength of each step builds on each other. So if you have weak clarity, you're going to choose poor certification. If you don't choose the right certification, you're going to struggle to custom build coaching solutions. If you can't custom build coaching solutions, you will struggle to find steady streams of clients. And of course, if you don't have steady stream of clients, cash flow nightmares are going to be the order of the day. So we're going to take our time here and go through step by step. A real emphasis that I'm going to be drawing your attention to is this point, because a lot of folks think that all they need to do is get some clarity and then go and choose a certification path of some kind. And once they have that little piece of paper that says you are certified, they often unfortunately think that that is enough. And that's why they choose poor certification or limiting certification, because what you need is you need a foundation that can give you these 3. Otherwise, you have invested time and money and you haven't got the ability to actually bring rain to your apple tree purposeful self. The apple tree is my symbol for your true purposeful self. Right. Why do people do this in the first place? Well, we do this, many of us, and I've heard this time and time again, because we want 4 kinds of freedom, and we're willing to put in the effort to earn these 4 freedoms. We want the freedom to do work we love, which we call purpose, create some kind of meaning in the world, contribute, hopefully give more than we're getting, leave the world in a better place, and put our heads on a pillow at night feeling like we have contributed in a way that makes our heart happy and that makes us feel like our life is contributing. We also, especially in today's world, we want time freedom. We want at least the ability to choose how to spend our time. And I'm not saying that this path is a get out of jail free card, and that I'm not going to sell you one of those stories where you're going to be able to sit on an island somewhere and not work for 4 months and still somehow crack this. The reality is that everything in nature works, everything in nature gives to grow, and life is in service to life. But I think what we can do is choose the time that I do spend working. How do I want to spend that time? And flexibility with time is a gift. Being able to raise children, being able to take holidays, being able to choose when and how you work is often a draw card to this path. People also want to be able to earn multiple currencies these days, to have different streams of income and not to have a ceiling on their income. And you'll see when we talk about acquiring clients and cash flow, one of the biggest roadblocks that natural coaches discover on this path to becoming an in-demand master coach is that they forget about the trap of selling hours. And when we're selling hours, we lose our time freedom and we lose our earning potential. So that is why this last piece becomes really key if you're in this for all freedoms, all the 4 freedoms. The 4th one I've put in here as an intentional question mark for most of you, because the traditional path tells us what you're supposed to do to get this right is that you're supposed to pick a niche, perfect a product and promote in hope. And a lot of folks will be very happy to sell you a marketing system, a funnel, or something, or a website package in order to get that right. And I'm here to tell you there's another way, and I call it being unniched. And I will give niches back to you in a moment, but being unniched is really important. And you're going to see that it's part of what is necessary, especially in this stage of the journey. By the time you're at this point, you may actually start to know which pockets of people, which niches really work for you, and be able to build business around that. But it's a journey of discovery, not deciding. So instead of feeling like you have the pressure to make these kinds of decisions and that you have to decide who your market is, you have to decide, and it's really impossible to decide until you're at the right point. I don't even like the whole intuitively limiting approach of making these firm decisions. I'd prefer you to discover. And if you're in a state of discovery, it means you're flexible. You're willing to discover who your markets are, and markets plural. You're willing to discover how to express your purpose. You're willing to discover where are the best streams of income so that you can earn really well. And of course, to do all of this, all of these foundations need to be in place. And then it's simple once you know how. So let's go through each now. What kind of clarity do we need to carry us through this whole journey? I believe that there are 4 key yeses that you need to be able to confidently make in order to go, I'm clear enough, I haven't got any missing pieces. Because if you don't have clarity in all these 4, it's likely going to cause problems for you at some point in your journey. So the first yes comes from perhaps an intuitive sense, perhaps some kind of life experience that tells you being a coach is part of who I am. It's part of your apple tree. I always say that our purpose is not something we are born to do. Just like an apple tree does what it is, therefore our doing is an expression of our being. When we are focused too much on what should I do, we miss this innate sense of when I'm being truly myself, something magical happens, something natural is expressed. And if we then upskill that and turn that into a profession, we can call rain for our apple trees and have the incredible journey of not feeling torn between our paycheck and our purpose, but in fact being rainmakers, calling the rain and contributing a purposeful life while being true to ourselves. How you know that you are a natural coach and that this belongs to your purpose is because when you are holding space for people, when you are guiding, inspiring, empowering, facilitating some kind of inner or outer transformation for people, you feel your sap rise. The sap is the lifeblood of the tree, and that can feel like time disappearing. It's not this crunch of every minute ticking past slowly. It can also feel like love, like there is a sense of I really do love this. And even if there's physical effort, and even if you're tired because working makes us tired, on the inside we're energized. So there's a sense of life force or energy that is increased when you are free to be your apple tree self. You also may feel inspired in some way, as if this truly is inspiring. You are moved by something intangible. Now, an apple tree has natural abilities. You have natural skills. And if you feel like this belongs to who you are, if this is your natural self, then it's about deciding whether you want to turn this into a profession. And for many of us, it's the greatest gift in the world to work hard and to actually turn our apple trees into a calling and into a vocation. So that's the first yes. Yes, it feels like it belongs to who I am. I do feel like I'm a natural coach, so perhaps it's a yes for turning this into a profession. The second piece of clarity is to understand the difference between what I call pure versus blended coaching. ICF, the International Coaching Federation, who are the world leaders in establishing the gold standards for coaching, putting together criteria that allows professional coaches to be credentialed, as well as helping training providers to put together programs that support and that deliver on those competencies. I have an MCC master credential from the ICF, and I have run internationally accredited ICF programs at the highest level since as early as 2012. So I have quite a deep and thorough understanding of the difference between what the ICF consider to be coaching and versus not coaching, and why I still believe that I think 85 to 90% of the coaches that I've worked with, at least over the many decades, tend to still be blended coaches. So let me give you a quick definition. The simplest way to understand this is that a pure coach does not give advice. This can be like quite a shock for a lot of folks. A pure coach means I can hold space, I can empower you, I can help you to help yourself, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to lead you. I'm not going to guide you. I'm not even going to say, well, have you thought of ... because that's also still hidden, sneaky advice. A pure coach has a number of really powerful skills that enable somebody to find the answers within, to find their strengths within, to get clarity and to move ahead towards their goals. I believe that other professions, and I've worked with psychologists, mentors, CEOs, leaders, I've worked with people from many different professions, and I believe and I've seen that our skills improve in other areas when we learn pure coaching, but it's pretty important to know the difference. If you follow the internet and you're looking at, how to be a coach, how to be a life coach, a lot of folks aren't talking about pure coaching. They're talking about turning your knowledge into a career, giving guidance, telling people what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of approach if you have knowledge that's worth sharing, and if you understand the risks involved with giving advice, because every time we give advice, we are liable, aren't we? Morally, ethically, and legally. But that being said, you may still end up being somebody whose apple tree is more of a blended coach. And a blended coach, for me, for a lot of coaches that I work with, is the sweet spot. They're leaders and coaches. They're mentors and coaches. They're consultants and coaches. And being able to blend the best of both, I think, is a pretty powerful combination. Now, you don't have to be 100% sure yet, but I think you need to be able to say, yes, I have clarity that I understand, at least in principle, the difference. Because if you understand the difference, it means that you're going to choose the right certification for you. It means that you're not going to fall into the trap of, let's say, limiting yourself as a pure coach if actually you're a blended coach, etc. So now you have a little bit of understanding. You should have that clarity. Next is to understand what this path entails. Now, the ICF, as I mentioned, the International Coaching Federation, they define the path against certain benchmarks of coaching experience, training hours, as well as the level of competency, the level of skill that a coach can demonstrate. And they name these ACC, PCC, and MCC. So Associate Professional and Master Coach. Now, each of these you could imagine is like another level of skill that takes you to a higher level in your profession. Even if you're not planning to be an ICF certified, credentialed coach, it really is worthwhile to understand the difference between an ACC, PCC, and MCC coach. And I think it's pretty worthwhile aiming for some of these competencies. Yes, there will be pure coaching competencies, but they're valuable. And they're also door opening. So even if this is something you're not 100% sure about, be aware that there is this path. So have clarity on the fact that the coaching profession does have a credentialing body. There are more than one at the moment. ICF's not the only one, but they're still highly regarded as being the leaders. And know that this exists. Perhaps familiarize yourself with the difference between the three. I have a number of videos that you can watch to get a little bit more of an understanding of this. You can also go to their website and just check it out, because at this point, just knowing, oh, there is a professional body, there is a professional path that I can choose. Now, one little point I do want to mention about this is not to limit yourself through this path either. I think the ICF and having these credentials is something that we should partner with or stand on. It shouldn't be a ceiling. It should be a platform or a partner. Platform or partner. See, alliteration time. I'm getting okay. Lastly, I do think that it's important to have some clarity on how you're going to make income out of this journey. You know, where are you going to find income? Now, you don't have to know for sure yet, because as I said, we do want to be in a state of discovery, not deciding. And I know this is a big question for a lot of people. It's like, I'm nervous to take this path because when will I be able to start earning? How will I earn? And that's the reason that I've put this video together for you, because a lot of folks don't get this right because they only focus on the path. They only get clarity on, this is my purpose. They often don't get clarity here too. This is my purpose and I understand the ICF path, and that's all they do. So follow the video to understand, at least in principle, and to have clarity around the possibilities of making this path profitable, because you want, very poorly drawn, you want rain for your apple tree. You don't want to be somebody who's found their purpose and is in a desert because you cannot attract income. If this content and this video is serving you, please do like and subscribe so that we tell the algorithms that you want more of the same and that we know what kind of content to make for you. So remember, I said that one of the pieces of clarity is whether you're going to be a pure non-advice giving, ICF competency only type of coach, or are you wanting the flexibility to be a blended coach, to bring in mentoring, consulting, some other professional modalities, and to draw on the best of both? And that's going to be key when deciding on certification, because if you are a pure coach, if that's where you're pretty clear, I only want to be a pure coach, Cole, then it's easy. You just need to look for, I believe, an ICF level 2 program. Now, there's a reason why I'm suggesting level 2 and not level 1, even though the ICF in the last few years have created level 1, level 2, and level 3 programs that match with ACC, PCC, and MCC. If you go straight for a PCC level 2 program, even if it takes you a while to get your coaching experience, so unless there's a real reason that you need an ACC earlier, there are a lot of benefits to going straight for a level 2. And that is because if you pass and are proved competent at a level 2 level, you have to do one ICF exam and you have to do one performance evaluation with your training provider. If you do a level 1 and then you go on and find a level 2, there are some bridging programs out there. We do offer a bridging program, but you still have to do a second set of exams with the ICF, and you have to do a second round of performance evaluations with a second round of mentor hours, individual mentor hours, and group mentoring hours. So the more efficient path, if you are interested in quality but not going down, a very long extended road, I would look for an ICF level 2 program. If you're going to be a blended coach, look for a level 2 program that gives you the ability to custom build coaching programs, and that's also going to help you to understand and to give you business building guidance that is not the traditional pick a niche, perfect a product, promote and hope approach. So that is my recommendation for getting your certification. Now, all the other questions in terms of pricing of certificates, online or not, etc. That's the kind of thing you can put into ChatGPT. You can do your research. You can go onto the ICF's website and you can look for level 2 programs. My team and I, we run a level 1 and level 2 program, and it has what we call the big 4 most in-demand coaching toolboxes, because we obviously teach what I'm preaching, right? What I'm telling you works. We help people to be able to custom build with flexibility. So have a look around. We're not for everybody, certainly. And we also only run a certain amount of cohorts every year, and we keep them limited. So do your homework, have a look around. And if you want to be a blended coach, you might have to look a little bit harder, because most level 2s are very much focused only on the pure coaching approach. But you can always package in tools and skills and knowledge in other ways to do that. Once you have your certification, and hopefully you've chosen certification that gives you the ability to hit the next milestone, which is custom creation, which is the ability to custom build coaching solutions for the person in front of you. Compare the following. Compare trying to sell an off-the-shelf product, which pretty much means that you sit at your desk trying to pick a niche, decide on a niche, trying to perfect that product, and then trying to promote it. Here's my program, here's my coaching, hope you like it, would you like it? Here's my price, here's the details. And it's a kind of promote and hope approach that fails, at least in my experience, 9 out of 10 times. It also puts an incredible amount of stress on you as a coach, because you feel like you have to go be that person that's out there aggressively pushing your product. So there's another alliteration moment. You feel like you're having to push your product onto people. And in my experience, the folks that are drawn to the coaching profession, we just don't want to compromise ourselves in that way. We want to be authentic, we want to be natural, and therefore this whole approach leaves a lot of natural coaches really struggling with certification and no clients or very few clients and not enough cash flow to make their dreams viable. So instead, this is the approach that I see work 9 out of 10 times. And that is to have the kinds of skills and the kinds of tools in order to comfortably and confidently custom build the solution for the person in front of you, whoever that person is. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to be everybody's coach. I'm not saying that. It is, however, that this kind of flexibility, because in the early stages of building your business and building your brand and building your coaching career, you do really want to experiment and be flexible. And flexibility means, if you take another profession, if you've just learned how to sing, you need many songs, which are like our tools. You need a repertoire. You can't just sing 3 songs and hope to get away with it. You also need master skills. You need to have really put in time and perhaps training, which your certification should be doing for you, to take your skills to another level so that you're no longer just a natural, that now you're a professional. And once you've got professional level skills plus a big toolbox, you might still not know where your lane is. And if you're hungry for work and you're willing to be flexible and willing to discover instead of decide, instead of picking a niche and trying to perfect a product and then promote and hope, the approach that really works, I mean, can you imagine if you're a singer, is to chat to people in various markets and to discover what it is that they really are needing. Not just, well, that would be nice, I'll think about it, but they really are already looking for, they're hungry for, they have a sense of urgency because it's something important, high value for them. And you go, I could possibly help you. And you might also be pleased to see that I suggest you say, I might be able to help, which is honest, instead of, oh, I can definitely help you, and that very cheesy, sleazy, infomercial style promise that a lot of people are taught to do when they are taught to promote themselves as coaches. What this sounds like, this custom co-created conversation, sounds like really natural, honest, listening to someone, establishing what they've already tried that hasn't worked for them, what they've tried that has worked, getting a very clear sense of where they're struggling, where they're stressed, where they are suffering, listening to them. And in your mind, you're thinking, I might have a solution for that. I could have a process that would help with this. I've got this tool that sounds like it would be a match there. I'm starting to get an idea of how I might be able to help. And then the conversation literally sounds like that. It sounds like, I'm not sure, because I'm not, but based on what you've told me, I think I might be able to help, and I'd love to have that conversation. And in that follow-up conversation, you are co-creating and you are custom building because you have a big toolbox, because you have master level pure coaching skills, and you have tools that help you to be blended if necessary. And this kind of approach, I've personally used this at every level for multinational enterprise, multi-million deals, for clients that I've had for more than 10, some 15 years. I've used this for individual clients. And the coaches that I've worked with and mentored over the years that take this kind of approach, they tell me how relieved they are. Because what it means is that you don't need digital marketing. Digital marketing is something that can happen next. It can happen when you go into your cash flow stage, if you choose to. But sometimes this works so well that coaches don't even need to do much else. So if you get, as a summary, clarity, this is your purpose. an understanding of the path, if you get a sense of how you can ultimately profit from this instead of picking a niche, trying to perfect a product at your desk, say that 3 times fast, and then hoping and promoting, if you realize that I'm going to choose certification that gives me flexibility, but that has the door opening credibility of, for example, an ICF level 2, and then you trust yourself to learn how to custom create. And for me, the big 4, by the way, which are the most in-demand services, are life coaching, enneagram coaching, business coaching, and executive coaching. Those are the big 4. And if you want to know some of our most successful coaches consistently, when we look at our top percentage of the folks that are out there with 10 plus years of success and steady streams of clients, they move between these. They don't position themselves as a life coach, as an enneagram coach, as a business coach, or an executive coach. They can dip into all these tools and these toolboxes in order to customize, and therefore they attract different streams of clients. And in the early stages of building a coaching business and brand and becoming that go-to in-demand master coach, this is key. It's also going to future-proof you, because if you only go for clients that are looking for life coaches, you have essentially limited yourself. And if that life coaching market dips for whatever reason, you suddenly lose all those potential clients. You're going to be really stuck. So, for example, with the rise of AI and bots, there are AIs now already offering basic life coaching, right? Basic goal setting, planning, accountability plans, etc., motivating. So you've got to beat the bots. We've got to beat the bots, and we are beating the bots. And the way we do that is by using our intuition, by having flexible toolboxes, by custom building. And remember that every time you custom build something for a client, that means you have created something that client really wants. And so when you deliver, that client is going to say, wow, I got exactly what I was asking for, which is now seen as premium. It is seen as higher value. So what happens here with this kind of approach is that you see a lot more referral business. You see a lot more top reviews, social media, and other platforms where people can put in reviews for you. So here you already start to attract clients instead of feeling like you have to endlessly go out and find them and find them and find them. The one block, or the one big roadblock you do want to watch out for at this point, is the trap of selling hours. And usually in this transition to the final milestone, I encourage coaches to get out of the seeing their 1 hour as a time block or a unit of money. So my hour is worth X. What are other people charging for their hour? And to break out of the hour selling mentality, because the risk is that even if you do start doing well here because you're custom building, now you have a full calendar, you have clients booked up for a couple of months in advance. Even if that happens, you can't go on holiday. Your earning capacity is limited, your time is limited, and even if you're feeling like you're living your purpose, this can be really difficult. Okay, this can be really difficult. So I suggest strongly that we look at now cash flow as the final milestone to show you how to break out of the selling hours. But we almost have to get here first and then finally get here. And if you know this, you can do this quicker than most people, because a lot of folks don't know this. They only discover it along the way. So at least now you have some clarity about the path. So 3 of the most important shifts in mindset and perspectives that coaches make when they transition from the client finding stage into the cash flow generating stage, where we really are learning how to call rain for our purposeful apple tree self, is the following. Number 1, transitioning from what I call a bronze to a silver and possibly even a gold business model. Number 2 is starting to think in terms of teams and technology, ecosystems. And number 3 is to always have a give to grow mentality. So let's unpack that quickly. So selling hours is a bronze business. A bronze business, if you imagine little bronze apples, lots of them at the bottom of an apple tree. There are many of them. They're the low-hanging fruit. So therefore, a lot of coaches think that's what I need to do. And it's not such a bad idea to start that way, to sell some hours, to get used to build your confidence. But you're going to hit the wall that most coaches hit when they realize that every month they have to sell volume in order to make their cash flow work, in order to have enough rain for their businesses. Whereas silver is usually the sweet spot for coaches, and that is there are fewer silver apples, and this is looking at selling longer term programs. So you're now, instead of selling hours, you are selling outcomes, you are selling journeys, transformations, and you are packing value. So you're transitioning from volume to value. Instead of, I've got to sell now, let's say 30 hours a month just to breathe. Now you're thinking, hey, I only need 10 clients every 6 months in order to feel very comfortable. And of course, you can probably guess that the gold apples, there's just a few at the top, and that's the VIP stage. So not all coaches are ready for this. For VIP level, you've really got to have some track record behind you. You've got to understand value and be able to pack a lot more value into a gold product. So this is usually the sweet spot, which is thinking about selling value instead of time. And value is, can you take me where I want to go? Can you help me? Can you walk with me? Volume products tend to be do it yourself. Value products tend to be do it with me. And of course, VIP products is do it for me, right? Where we are delivering a concierge service and people have disposable income, high disposable income at that stage. And that kind of client just really has not got time, and they want us to solve all their problems, and they're willing to put money on the table to do so. So it demands a lot more personalized service from you, but it delivers because you only need a handful usually of VIP clients in order to get enough cash in to your brand or business in order to make it healthy and strong. So once you hit a silver business, then it's time to start thinking about, if I want to scale. And choosing to scale is a choice that not all coaches make. Some of them are already very satisfied with selling silver. They've got all the freedoms they wanted, but there are a handful of coaches that say, I want to make a bigger impact in the world. I want more income for myself so that I can make a bigger impact, so that my purpose and my profit are aligned. And therefore, in my opinion, it really always comes down to 2 things: learning how to build teams and learning how to leverage technology so that you have ecosystems. So you imagine an apple tree's in a forest, and there are these mycelium networks that help trees to talk to each other. There's the rain, there's soil, there's wildlife, there's insects. An ecosystem means that we're stretching outside of my apple tree and its reign, and we're starting to build something that works on our behalf. And this is often a challenge for coaches who don't have a business mindset. They didn't realize that in order to scale, they would need to transition into a business mindset. And sometimes what can happen is they go look online, they start researching, and they feel very uncomfortable about the way most business building is taught, especially if it's quite aggressive. And that's why I enjoy leaning into nature, watching how nature with wisdom really knows how to do this, and realizing that we can build businesses in a natural way. We don't have to build businesses in an unnatural way. We don't have to be the person that builds something that nukes the soil and makes it unsustainable. And if we think in terms of ecosystems, if we think in terms of the last point, giving to grow and growing to give, and we are guided by wisdom and we follow some of these principles, we can have a beautiful natural business with either small or bigger teams where we leverage technology to take care of some of the tasks for us. And if you're very people focused, you would probably more heavily lean into teams. If you've got a bit of a geek side, or if you can find people who are strong with tech and partner with them, this kind of combination can really help to scale so that you are delivering a high degree of value, growing your silver and gold potential products, and increasing the rain for your apple tree. In terms of giving to grow and growing to give, everything in nature does that. So in traditional marketing language, it's called creating lead magnets, giving people a slice of cake to want more cake. But if we just look at nature, everything in nature is generous. You open a fruit and it has enough seeds to make dozens more plants that all produce bountiful harvests of more fruit. If we take that kind of attitude and we're willing to put ourselves out there with a give to grow and grow to give attitude, giving generously, showing people that we have these silver solutions, not teasing, but actually giving generously, putting your apple tree out there in the world, showing people that you can help by actually helping them. Every time you do this with the sincere interest of understanding your clients better and serving them at the highest, will automatically start to grow your business. And just like we would feed the soil and feed plants, feed an apple tree so that it feeds us, we feed our business so that it feeds us. We nourish it, we build ecosystems so that we can be all we were born to be, so that we can uncap our income, that we can uncap and take charge of how we want to spend this precious time that we have in this life, that we can be free to follow our calling, to do work that gives us a sense of purpose and that contributes. And of course, that we can remain flexible. Now, I said I would give you niches back, so let me not forget to do that. If at this point of the journey, you've got your cash flow, which means that you have proven that you understand 2 or 3 or more types of clients who keep saying yes to the same kinds of customized products, what you see there is a pattern. When you see the pattern of the same kinds of clients are saying yes to the same kinds of custom-built solutions, well, that's what you can build a marketing campaign around. That's what might deserve the shop windows of a website or a social media channel dedicated to that one avatar, that one kind of client, to showcase that one kind of product. but it's a shop window, which means the shop window doesn't put everything in the shop window. It chooses what's seasonal. You choose what's working right now, and you showcase that. You drive funnels to that. You build marketing around that if you choose to, because as I said, this can work so well that the majority of coaches that I know, they're satisfied, they have their 4 freedoms, they don't really want to be entrepreneurial. There's a small percentage that do, like myself, that we're interested in the bigger game of bigger impact. But the majority just are happy at this point. If you want to go the whole road, and if you want to also, if your apple tree is an entrepreneur, then you watch the patterns here where the cash is flowing, where the rain is flowing, and you double down and you put visibility. So you shine a little light or a big light on that, and you just do more of what's working, and you learn. And it's pretty much like walking around a beautiful apple tree farm. You look after the soil, you feed it so it feeds you, you put in systems so that you're not carrying buckets, and you nurture in an organic, natural way. And then you put light on the thing, you bring visibility to it. And that is what I've seen works, and I really do hope that it serves you.